here and there. Three blind mice everywhere, searching all around for the cat. All over Kingston town, fit a pat. They got the carving knife to cut the pussycat's life. The puss will get that knife for trifling with three blind mice. Oh, the man.
That's it. 100 honors and 90 below.
Now sit down, the Strangways. I have to give it you.
Afraid I must leave you for a few minutes. Order round on my chip, will you, Professor?
Right.
Damn it all, must you break off at this time every evening?
Sorry, General. My managing director is a creature of habit. There's a call put through to me every day about this time.
Anyway, hurry back before the cards get cold.
20 minutes. And don't try doctoring any hands for me while I'm away. Same again.
Carte.
Carte. Sept à la banque. 200 livres à la banque.
Suivi.
Banque au suivi.
Carte.
Carte.
Yes, you must. Thank you.
Huit à la banque.
Suivi.
C'est suivi.
The house will cover the difference.
Bien, madame. Oui, monsieur. Changeur, s'il vous plaît.
Carte.
Carte. Neuf à la banque.
I need
Carte.
another 1,000.
I admire your courage, Miss...
Trench. Sylvia Trench. I admire your luck, Mr.
Bond. James Bond.
Mr. Bond, I suppose you wouldn't care to, raise the limit?
I have no objections.
C'est pas possible, madame. C'est illégal, monsieur.
No.
C'est suivi, monsieur.
Looks like you're out to get me.
It's an idea at that. 8.
Huit à la ponte. Neuf à la banque.
Excuse me. Thank you. Andre, I must pass the shoe. Jean-Jacques, I hope you'll forgive me, but it's most important. Thank you.
Merci, monsieur.
Too bad you have to go. Just as things were getting interesting.
Yes. Tell me, Miss Strange, do you play any other games? I mean, besides chemin de fer.
Golf. Amongst other things.
Tomorrow afternoon, then. Hmm?
Tomorrow? Let's see now.
And, we could have dinner afterwards, perhaps?
Sounds tempting. May I, let you know in the morning?
Splendid. My number's on the card.
There. Now you made me miss it.
You don't miss a thing. How did you get in here? Never mind that now, you're here.
I decided to accept your invitation.
Oh, that was for tomorrow afternoon. Tell me, do you always dress this way for golf?
I changed into something more comfortable. Oh, I hope I did the right thing.
Well, you did the right thing, but you picked the wrong moment. I have to leave immediately.
Oh, that's too bad. Just as things were getting interesting again. When did you say you had to leave?
Immediately. Almost immediately.
It was not until I tried to create my own edit I realized that Dr. No opening is actually filled with creative conflicts which eventually lead to some critical compromise. In this segment I will try to explain not only my edit but more on what I observe and assume what happened in the editing of Dr. No opening sequence. For starters, I am not a big fan of cutting short the iconic James Bond theme. In fact, I am pretty disappointed how the music spilled up suddenly segues to a tribal drums and a later Caribbean rendition of Three Blind Mice. While I clearly understood the whimsical irony of the nursery rhyme to the cold-blooded murder that would follow, the transition still feels a letdown. Especially since it preceded the unfinished build-up of Monty Norman and John Barry's masterpiece. Second, for a franchise that would later be known for pre-title sequence, it is quite odd that the movie that started it all lacks this iconic tradition. Yet still a closer inspection reveal otherwise. The scene where Strangway and his secretary was killed and then focusing on a folder with the label Dr. No accompanied by a loud fanfare obviously screams a classic pre-title sequence was intended. Then finally Binder's animated title sequence. Let us consider first that in late 50s the technology at the time definitely limited any one creative process. And yet Binder is a pure genius when he was able to pull off cool montage that defines 007. From gun barrel to blinking dots that represent a gun barrel or jazzy neon lights blinking. However, as mentioned earlier, this sequence never reached its full potential because it must make way for the Three Blind Mice song. Perhaps this was the main problem editor must face that led to this odd edit. On one end there is the Strangway's murder pre-title sequence that started with the song Three Blind Mice. On the other hand, is Binder's creative montage. The opening gun barrel then ends with jazzy colorful dots. And then what probably changed the whole ball game was the oh so awesome Bond music. In the end, the solution the production came up was the following. Binder's opening gun barrel won and became the opening of the movie, establishing a tradition that would remain unbroken for the next 20 Bond films. However, instead leading to a pre-title sequence, the James Bond theme song literally was incorporated to the gun barrel sequence. Obviously to solidify the mood in the first seconds of the film. A decision that was never repeated until 44 years later with 2006 Casino Royale. With this direction it has become apparent that concept of pre-title sequence was abandoned. From a pre-title sequence, the killing of Strangway and his secretary was moved after the Binder's title sequence. But this direction also created another dilemma. Because the sequence also starts with the music, Three Blind Mice. And thus James Bond theme was cut and transitioned to the song Three Blind Mice. As a result, these decisions, the pre-title sequence was removed, and worse, the Bond theme was cut short and the animated title sequence never reached its peak. There are already attempts to edit Dr. No opening. Some edits are made to simply modernize it to the times. Others so that it would conform to the traditional sequence. This attempt is more of the latter, at the same time trying to capture, which I assume the essence, the original direction of the script. The decision to start in black and white was originally to avoid copyright infringement issues. But in the end the result not only gave us a noirish feel of the early 40s but provided a cool setup for a more colorful title credits. For the title credit, I find it a real challenge to complete a Bond theme using only colorful dots. It was so limiting that it tends to be repetitive. I wondered if Binder experienced the same challenge, wanting to introduce something new and yet still very close to what Binder would have done. In the end, I got my inspiration from an anime opening considered one of the best, Cowboy Bebop. Not only is one of the few which features a cool jazz music but echoes the spy thriller of the 60s like The Avengers, Mission Impossible and The Saint.